Next, I invite OGCM Gunawardana, representing Department of Remote Sensing and GIS, Sabaragaon University, to talk about solar power plant site selection using GIS techniques in Hambantota district.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to present my research conducted on solar power plant site selection using GIS techniques in Hambantota district. Mainly, there are two types of energy resources as renewable and non-renewable. Sunlight is one of the renewable energy resources and its consumed amount is replaced by the nature. Solar power is the energy conversion of sunlight into the electricity. Mainly, there are three methods in solar power generation as directly using photovoltaic, indirectly using concentrated solar power, and combination of both. In Sri Lanka, these are the existing power production capacity and expected capacity by 2025. The primary sources of electricity generation in Sri Lanka includes hydropower, thermal power, solar power, and wind power. Among them, majority are hydropower plants. Let's move to the research problem. Sri Lankan government has the aim to increase renewable power generation capacity, but solar farms are still young for the country. Therefore, determining suitable sites for a solar farm is an issue. Let's talk about the importance of this research. The electricity supply can decrease due to lack of resources or technical failures. Therefore, alternatives should be there. The electricity demand has increased due to population increment, and the supply also should be increased. Sri Lanka is a country near to the equator and Hambantota is located in the dry zone. As a result of that, Hambantota receives plenty of sunlight throughout the year and we should get maximum benefit from that energy. So a solar farm is a good alternative for non-renewable energy resources since it's eco-friendly. My primary objective was selecting the optimum sites for solar farms, and sub-objectives include preparing solar radiation maps, slope map, proximity maps, land use map, and final suitability map. The study area was Hambantota district, which is located in southern province in Sri Lanka. It's a second-level administrative division in the country, and the government has planned to establish a special economic zone in this area. Let's talk about the literature review. According to literature, land use has become the most popular criterion among similar researchers. And I have extracted few examples similar to my research. And some Algani and Avasti has not considered solar radiation factor, which was considered in the current study. And Khan and Rathi has considered completely different criteria. And another researcher in 2017 has conducted a research to select the best city to establish a solar farm, but there he was not considered land use and proximity criteria, and also in the method he has used MATLAB program. And in 2011, fuzzy multi-criteria evaluation and flow module was used, and different PV technologies are considered, which were not considered in the current study. In my method, I have considered 7 different criteria, including solar radiation. But this was not considered as a major factor since Sri Lanka is near to the equator and Hambantota receives a good amount of solar radiation throughout the year. As a result of that, most probably solar radiation is constant within this area. Mainly there are 4 different types in solar radiation as direct, diffuse, reflected and global. To calculate them, I have used SRTM DEM data. This is how the data analysis was done. The initial data sets are SRTM DEM, topographic map taken from survey department, and land use data obtained from land use policy planning department. My 7 criteria were global solar radiation, slope, proximity to roads, utility lines, cities, and water features, and land use layer. These 7 layers were overlaid using weighted overlay tool, and the result was a suitability index for solar farm sites. From that, the maximum suitability values were selected, and finally, the best sites were selected. This is how the weights were assigned to each criteria according to their importance. And major criteria were further divided into sub-criteria according to 5 scale, where 1 is for very poor and 5 is for very good. In land use criteria, other plantation includes cultivated areas except major cultivations, and restricted areas include built-up areas, marshlands, dense forests, and rocky areas. According to literature, slopes more than 5 degrees are considered as steep slopes. Therefore, they were considered as restricted in the current study. And also, first kilometer from a city was considered as restricted for the construction. This is the suitability model created using Model Builder in ArcMap software. I have few intermediate results. These are direct and diffuse solar radiation maps. Here, red color represents the highest values and green color represents the lowest values. This is the global solar radiation map. Here also red color represents the highest values. By looking at these 3 maps, you can understand that solar radiation is almost constant throughout this area. This is the slope map of Hambantota district. Here red color represents the steep slopes. These are proximate to utility lines and roads. Here dark colors indicate the highest, most suitable values. In proximity to water features layer, water features are represented in light blue color and dark green represent the most suitable values. And in proximity to cities, restricted areas appear in purple color. This is the land use map of Hambantota district. Here you can see restricted areas in dark blue color. And this is the final suitability map for solar farms in Hambantota district. Here ash color indicates the not suitable areas and red color represents the highly recommended areas. By using that result, I have calculated area represented by each suitability level. Here you can see that majority of area is under not suitable category and minority is under highly recommended category, and it's about 3% of whole area. According to literature, to produce 1 megawatt of energy, 10,000 of square meters are needed. By using that assumption, I have calculated potential capacities of the predicted sites. This table shows the best 17 sites with highest capacities. And when calculating the site's capacities, I have used another assumption. Its whole area of the site is equal to surface area of solar panels. In this map also, you can see those best 17 sites in red color. Let's move to the discussion. I have conducted a simple validation. Already there are 4 solar farms, an oil-fired power station, and a wind farm in this area. The model results accuracy was checked by visually comparing resulting sites with existing sites. 4 existing sites were extracted from Google Earth Pro software and compared with final suitability map. In the map, you can see existing farms as polygons, and they appear under not suitable category. That's because I have considered built-up areas as restricted in the current study. But the adjacent lands to those 4 sites appear under highly recommended and most suitable category. Therefore, we can say that model results are reliable. Move on to the conclusion. The results of this study have the ability to provide a guideline for establishing solar farms in Hambantota district. The proposed sites are related with the existing sites. More suitable areas with highest capacities were found near Kottakumbuka, Vatiya and Kurundana areas. Although Hambantota receives plenty of sunlight throughout the year, very few sites are suitable for establishing a solar farm. That proves that before constructing a solar farm, conducting this type of research is important. Since environmental sensitive areas were excluded, the land clearance can be done without damaging such areas. Here, aspect criteria was not considered. Since Sri Lanka is located near the equator and Hambantota has almost flat topography, therefore, the direction of slope does not influence much for receiving solar energy. And I have few recommendations. Here, some criteria were not considered due to unavailability of data and time limitation. If someone can use those criteria, results would be more accurate. And can conduct the same study with different methods to compare the results and gain an accurate final decision. And also, here I have used SRTM DEM data to obtain solar radiation, but someone can establish solar sensors to obtain solar radiation rather than using DEM data. This is the end of my presentation, and thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation, Chanita. There are actually this methodology is very good for you when you apply these kind of technologies in Sri Lanka. Then we can go for sustainable development goals stated by United Nations. So then